one of the things I'm most joyful and just like happy about is that I feel like the Olympics created a bridge back to Geneva. And
Yeah.
I don't think without that happening, without me getting to compete in the Olympics, I don't know if that ever would have happened. Truly, I'm not sure if that would have happened. And so it felt like we were accepted again. It felt like we got to be a part of a community that we lived in for 20 some years, and that we got to reconnect in those relationships again. And that hurt, that wound, that you know, all of that felt like it finally had some healing in it and some purpose. And so that is what I am the most grateful for to God, is that he knew what he was doing the whole time.
Well, yeah, and I totally agree. And from one fellow local, to another here too. Yeah, that was a difficult, time in life. And I know, because regardless, good or bad, it always leads to a very positive outcome.
Yep.
And
Yep.
there's a lot of people that did not feel that way at that time. So please,
Yeah.
you always remember that,
Well, thank
so
you.
yeah. And I mean, it's seeing Coach, seeing Danny. You just don't tell him I said that. Seeing Danny and Nancy,
Yeah.
in the pictures that you have on your socials, happy
Yeah.
and watching their kids grow and develop. And
Yep.
uh, it is fulfilling, because I remember stories back when I was little, when Nancy was my PE teacher. And, she would talk about the family and all that. She'd be so
Yeah.
kind and gentle. And Danny would be like, all right, get up the rope.
Yeah.
One of those deals, it was one of those. It
Yep.
was fun, because that interaction, and of course, we get to play
Yep.
softball in the gym, so it worked
Yep.
out great. But it's getting to know your folks on that scale,
Yeah.
and seeing how they developed you into you and
Mm.
your siblings into wonderful examples
Oh, thank
of
you.
yeah, positive encouragement. But
Yeah.
um,
I've learned so much from them, and I understand that like I'm fully aware that many people did not feel like that way towards my parents. But it's always the ones that did that stand out,
yeah, yeah,
and many people have apologized afterwards too, which I'm grateful for, and never thought that that would happen.
yeah,
And so I just feel grateful because I've learned so much, and even how my family and my parents moved through that time. Because now as an adult, like watching them move through hurt of their own, and to feel uprooted from a community that they really invested in for a long time and loved. I, but just like to be able to then move to College Station, and Eric, all of us got to be in the exact same town for 6 years. Like like that could never have happened.
no,
Like the
no.
fact that we all got to be in the same town. My mom would help with the national championships at track and field. Like she would be working indoors. She'd have her junior high kid. Like she started a program with Texas A&M. Like she said, hey, do you guys need volunteers? She worked at an inner city school that like these kids don't get to see the university. They don't get to be a part of these rooms. And she provided an opportunity for them to say, yeah, bring these junior high kids, and they can carry the national champions, spikes and clothes and in those baskets. And they're getting to see these athletes up close and personal. And like, that's the type of person my mom is that everywhere she went, she always created good for the people that she engaged with. And she was always looking out for people, and wanted to provide experiences for people to say, hey guys, there's a bigger world out here than
Mhm.
just these, just the school, or just maybe the poverty that you live in. And I think that she got to do that in Geneva, and she's done that in College Station, and she's doing that in Palestine. And then seeing the relationships my dad has made with all of these, ex football players, and even the current ones, these, the junior high kids that he helps with now. Like, I didn't understand the magnitude of, the impact that they've had on people, but it truly inspires me to treat people like that also, and to always remember that relationships come first,
Yeah,
not the wins and losses, not the performances, but the relationships are the foundation. And like I remember, Eric, so many times I can reflect back where my dad maybe had to have hard conversations with a football athlete that maybe, got in trouble over the weekend, or, had something happened. And like, I have witnessed him go on walks or sit down with those guys and mentor them and be a strong, just like male figure in their life. And I've gotten to witness him do that even now, like with these junior high kids that don't, transparently don't have fathers in their lives. And he has been such just a person that they can come to. And I hope that I can also lead with that, because it really inspires me too.
Well, yeah, and your dad, I mean, they giving the kids that 60 minutes that they don't have
Yep.
of meaning, every day, and
Yeah,
that's the
of
biggest thing.
course.
Yeah.
And to feel a part of the team, and to, not degrade you, but to like, but also that doesn't mean he's not going to push you. Like my dad's a tough guy. Like I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like he's a tough guy. There's a reason why we got
No,
tough
he's
skin.
not.
Yeah. Like there's a reason why we have tough skin and the way that we are, and it's because he has high expectations, and he has always had that. And he pushes us to be the best versions of ourselves, for better or for worse. Sometimes it's not easy. And but I agree. Like, he wants you to feel part of the team. He's going to include you. He wants you to have those 60 minutes to feel proud of yourself for whatever that is. And sometimes that results in running a tire, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I
But
didn't say that right. I think he says tie. You got to run a
yeah, yeah.
tie. Yeah.
Oh, you and I are gonna get in so much trouble. But do you
he's
like
gotten
you
he's gotten softer with his old age.
you can
He
say that
has.
because you're far enough away.
Exactly.
But do you feel like you're talking about how your dad's being a positive influence
Yeah.
in the youth there for junior high kids. Do you feel like you're taking it upon yourself with that honor of being an
Mm,
Olympian and a good positive role model
yeah.
for all the women around?
Yeah, I really try to be. And the first thing that I always tell people is like, I hope that the last thing that people say about me is that I was a good javelin thrower. I hope that's the last thing that they think about me, because I want them to know that like I love Jesus, that I cared about them, that I was a friend to them, and and I happen to throw the javelin well. Like
Mhm.
I really do want to lead in that way, because javelin is just such a small part of who I am. And so I really do try to take the time to answer, on my Instagram. A lot of people ask me questions or reach out, and I do try to answer any questions that they have or encourage people, because this sport is hard. Like, it's a really tough thing to do, and it's very vulnerable to put yourself out there and, maybe even publicly fail. And so I try to always encourage and just share with people that I love them, and that there's a God that really has given every single person a gift and a talent. And we're just here to utilize that to glorify him. And so that's always been mine, whether I'm speaking at schools or I'm speaking at with elementary kids or making visits or whatever it is. Like, I just want them to see the human side of it. And thankfully, the Olympics just gives me that platform to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just watching you've been developing and growing. I know you talked about that too, and um, you know, having that element of opening up to. I feel
Mhm.
like you use your social media as a good processing tool to open up to the fans and whatnot. We've seen a vulnerable side of you after a tough one,
Yeah.
and uh, how's that been since you kind of been able to kind of wrap your head around that? Have you been
Yeah.
able to kind of mentally bounce back from that when you open up about that loss?
Yeah. It's so funny. I had coffee with a friend this morning, and we were talking about just javelin. Um and I said something about the video too, and I was like, I've never even watched that video that I put out afterwards. I kind of just blacked out, put it up, and never looked at it again. But I'm
Mhm.
glad that I did share it, because I do think it's important to see that side. And yeah, it was one of the hardest moments of my life because you think it's going to go one way and it doesn't.
Mhm.
And I felt like I'd prepared the best that I ever had. Like, it was such an unexpected blow, and you put so much into something. And I think everybody can relate to that, whether you're like building a business or you're trying out for a team, or, you know, you are getting ready for a state championship or whatever it is in your life. Like, when you feel like you've put so much into that and it doesn't turn out the way you thought it would, that can be really shaking. And so yeah, I have processed it, and thankfully I have such amazing people around me
Yeah.
that lift me up and you know, speak truth, because the devil's going to come in at those moments and he's going to try to rip you down and tell you lies about yourself. Um and what he tries to tell me, you know, vulnerably here, is that, you know, I'm not good enough, that I am that I'm a fake, that I, you know, am not worthy. You know, there's so many lies that I have dealt with. And to have people speak truth, and really community around me to speak truth into that. And the devil really tries to use embarrassment for me. Like, I felt so embarrassed to quote unquote fail in that moment. And I fully, you know, disregarded all the work that I put into it, the process to become a 3-time Olympian, which is so worthy in itself. And but I also have that Danny Malone hardness in me, where it's like, well, I expect the best and I want to be the best. And so it's tough to balance those things. But at the end of the day, I just know, like, it's a part of the game,
Yeah.
and it's a part of putting yourself out there, and it's so worthy to, and this is what I tell people now too, and it took me a long time to get to this. It is, the worthiness comes in trying, just trying something, to put yourself out there, to go out for that team, to, you know, put yourself in that event that you've never done, or, you know, to go speak publicly or whatever it is. It's like there's so much strength in just trying, and that should be celebrated. The process of pursuing something is worthy to be celebrated, and we often only celebrate the medals that people bring home, and I find myself in that too. And I do say this, where I'm like, I know I said this part in there because it's true still. I didn't even want the medal for me. I wanted it for all the people in Geneva and Exeter and Milligan and College Station and Alabama and Phoenix, and all the places that I have people who have been praying for me, who have supported me, who have been on this journey with me. I'm like, I want it for them and for us, not even for myself, but to, it was almost like a way to say, like, thank you. Like, I couldn't have done this without you. And I still believe that. I wouldn't be on this journey without those people in my life. I really wouldn't.
Well, and I think too is the fact that they are there with you through thick and thin. And my
Yeah.
question, you know, you medals don't matter or whatnot. Do you feel like it was you know, benefit to get all these medals, or you know, was it a positive to get all these accolades, or was it
Mm,
a humbling experience to feel what you felt at the last
yeah.
Olympics? I mean, what was more beneficial, I guess,
Yeah.
in your growth?
Um, I mean, definitely the losses are always the they always have helped me, and I've had more losses than wins in my life. Truly, like, this sport, I've had way more failures than I've had successes. And every single failure has led to some growth, some learning, whether it's personal or in the sport. Oftentimes it's both. And so even from that competition, like, my husband and I looked back, we looked at film, and it was like, oh, wow, I see what I was doing. And I mean, not to get too technical, but basically what happened was I was the early morning session. So I had to get up at like 5 a.m. And we had to be at the track at like 7 a.m. because we were competing at around like 8 or 9. And so I was trying to, historically, when I've had morning competitions, I'm like kind of sluggish, like dragging. And so I was trying to bring my energy up, and I was trying to force it on the javelin runway and really get my legs moving. And when I looked back, what I was actually doing was creating a lot of like stress and tension in my throw and in my approach. And so when I did that, it messed up all this timing, and I wasn't able to throw the javelin very well. because I was trying to um, what's the word? Like overcompensate for what I thought I was going to feel.
Mhm.
And so all this to say in a roundabout way, I learned from that experience. And then I went to my next two competitions and threw lights out. I finished third at the Diamond League and beat the girls that, that had previously thrown better than I did at the Olympics. And I did fantastic. I had a great series and but the only reason I was able to do that is because of what I learned from that moment. And so now I've even taken that moment into this season. And I already feel like I'm better than what I was at the end of the season because I was able to build on that. And so every single loss I've had has definitely impacted me. And what I've learned in this sport is that you can't take the lows. You can't let them break you. You can't go too low. Like you can feel it. You're going to feel it, but you can't let it break you. And there was a time in my life after 2016 where I did let it break me that I didn't want to compete anymore. But now I've done this long enough where I'm like, everybody feels it. Nobody is on top of the world all the time. You're going to take your losses, and it's how you can respond and learn from those losses that actually make you better. And sometimes making you better results in a medal around your neck, and sometimes it doesn't, but it grows you in a different way. And I'm at a point now where I'm accepting of both. I hope that it results in a great throw, but ultimately I know that it's going to impact me and make me a better, wife to my husband and, a mom someday and a coach, and all of those experiences are helping me in those areas.
I was gonna say, speaking of coach, hubby's doing a
Yeah.
great job. Yes,
He is
give
doing
him
so
love.
great. Oh my gosh, he's amazing. I could not do this without him. Like he truly, I mean, he was the person that got me going again. I was going to quit the sport in 2017 and he told me to keep going and he's been incredible. Yeah,
Ah, good man. You got to keep him.
he
Damn it.
is. I know. I know. He's the best. He's outside
So
right now. He's outside right now building this chicken thing for our chickens out back. I don't even know. So,
dedicated to the cause on a cold day. My
he
God.
is. He is. He knows no pain.
So I got to ask you, as we wind down our last few minutes, and of course I
Yeah.
appreciate all the time in the world with you. And
Yeah.
um, many of us want to know who's better at coaching. Is it Coach Hubby or Coach Dad?
Uh, I'm gonna go Coach Mama.
And
Yeah.
why?
I um I think my mom, I mean, how many state championships has she had? And state champions, if we just want to go off of numbers, we could go off
Okay.
that. My mom is like she is one of the most incredible coaches I've ever had the chance to be around, truly. And like obviously there's a bias because I'm her daughter, but the way that I mean, I've always watched her do this. Like since I was a kid, like I've watched her build relationships with people. She instills a belief in women and men too, that they can do anything. And it is, she's incredible. Like it truly inspires me. And that is what I found in my college coach too. I think that's why he and I got along so well, is because he instilled a belief in me that I could do anything, even when I didn't believe it. Like he speaks it into existence until you believe it. And he's going to make you work hard. And just like my mom, I mean, my mom put me through some hellish workouts. Anybody who's done track and was in her group, they know you're going to get your butt
PE
whooped.
track with Nancy. You got to give a round of
Oh
applause
my
for that.
gosh. She's going to make you work. But the success that you often have at the end of it, it all makes sense in the end. And the trust that you have in her and what she asks you to do is so important to coaching. I think a lot of times coaches miss the relationship part. Catherine Remick and I talk about this a lot. Track is a sport of relationships.
Hmm.
You have to have a relationship so that you can ask those athletes to do hard things and get them to believe in themselves and get them to believe in you as a coach. And when you have that in just like you have that established, you have that synergy happening, that's when that magic happens. That's when you get to see some outstanding performances. And I think coaches often just want the performance and they think like, oh, I'm going to yell at them all the time or I'm going to push them so hard. And it's like, no, 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 no. relationship has to be there first, because once that's there, those athletes are going to work their butts off for you.
Amen. All right, well, we'll keep going lightning round here.
Yeah.
Big Ten or SEC?
SEC. That's a pretty easy
Oh.
one for me. I am team SEC all day. Yeah. Except volleyball. Volleyball, I'll go
Yeah.
Big Ten.
Yes, of course, of course. Good answer, good
Yep.
answer. All right,
Yep.
we
Yep.
want to know when Maggie gets to have a quiet day, what's her cheat meal?
Oh, pizza and ice cream.
Ooh,
Yep.
what kind of pizza?
Anything with all the meat on it, all the protein. Yep.
Good. And of course, if you had the one perfect spot where you and the hubby can actually go and enjoy yourself anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
I'm gonna give you two answers just
Okay.
because there's our two favorite places. One is which we recently went to, but it's our one of our favorite places now is Stowe, Vermont.
Oh,
We went there over the fall, and it has become our like safe haven place. So that is definitely one that we love. We'll probably go every year now just to decompress. And then the other one is Tampere, Finland, which is where his family is from. And there's a lake home out there that they have, and it has like no electricity. There's like no indoor plumbing, and it's one of the most magical places ever. We love it. We got to spend time out there over the summer, and it's just so,
wow.
he got to go there every summer, and it's just the most beautiful place ever.
Can you imagine no socials, no TV, no nothing?
Exactly. Nothing.
Oh my.
Yep. We just go out there and we play darts, and we go on the lake, and we fish, and yeah, and we just spend time with each other. We play games. It's the best.
I know everybody's worrying about TikTok for crying out loud leaving,
Oh
but
my
man,
gosh, I know.
nothing there. Oh, that'd be
Nothing.
glorious.
It's beautiful. Yep.
Wow. Well, Maggie, I know your time's precious. I know we get to see each other soon. Can we
Yeah,
touch base again? Another follow up here down the road, maybe?
I think so too. That'd be great.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the time. Maggie
Yeah.
Malone-Hardin joining us here. And of course, you're coming to Geneva on February
Yep.
26th. Can't wait to
Yep.
see you. Tell us a little bit about what people are going to expect
Yeah.
from your visit down here to Fillmore County.
Yeah. Super excited to talk to everybody. I have something that I've developed for schools, but for like corporates and just businesses in general. It's called my Olympic Mindset 5 to Thrive. And so it's the 5 kind of characteristics that I feel like have helped in my journey to make me quote unquote Olympic. And I hope that it's, inspiring to other people, that helps them. They can take something away from it to help them kind of in their journeys too.
Can't wait to hear about it. Of course, everybody want to tune in February 26th at the Fillmore County Fairgrounds. The one and only Olympian and all around sweet lady of Fillmore County. It's
Love
Maggie
it.
Malone-Hardin. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate the time, my friend.
See ya.